Hello everyone, this is Opirian with another Minecraft tutorial. As you can see, I'm currently in a very dark room, so let us see if we can rectify that situation. In today's video, I will be showing you how to create both floor and ceiling hidden lights, as well as floor and ceiling light strips. So before we head out to the building area, let me go ahead and give you a bill of materials. First off, you will need, of course, your digging tools, some filler blocks. In this case, we are going with stone, yellow, and green wools. You will need sticky pistons, regular pistons, a button to turn on the light, a glowstone to act as a light source, some redstone repeaters, some redstone dust, and some redstone torches. So let us go ahead and head over to the building area now. Alright, here we are at the building area. First things first, I'm going to actually show you how to create the floor light. Now, we're not actually going to create the floor right now, as that would just get in the way of the wiring. We're actually going to start out with the actual contraption. So let us go ahead and dig out a hole in which our sticky piston will rest. Flanking both sides of the hole, about 2 spaces out, we want to place our normal pistons. Next, we're actually going to want to place our light source, and at least one of our filler blocks. In this case, we're going to go with yellow wool, simply because it is easy to distinguish. Now, as for the actual timing on the pistons, we're going to set up a block detection system. First, let's go ahead and set down 2 redstone repeaters. Now, we're actually going to want to set some delays on these repeaters. Go ahead and set one of them to 2 ticks down, and the other to 1 tick down. Now you can go ahead and flip this order. It doesn't matter as long as one is always 1 tick behind the other. Alright, so let's go ahead and place down another couple of redstone repeaters. And we're going to want to set the same delay rules on these as well. Next, in the block detection system, we'll actually place some blocks at the end of the redstone repeaters. And from there, we're going to place some redstone dust. Just go ahead and run that along the side to the piston on both sides. Now, as for the actual vertical piston, now we're going to want to dig out some space. So we'll go ahead and dig out these 2 blocks, as well as these 2 blocks. Now, we're going to want to place a redstone repeater here and here. Now these ones you will not have to worry about the delay. Just go ahead and wire those up. And then on the block here, we're actually going to want to place a redstone torch. Then we'll wire that directly to the piston, which will now extend. Now what we need to set up is the actual input. In this case, we'll just go ahead and place a green block of wool here, and a button here, and then wire that up to the system. Now, if everything is done correctly, the glowstone should switch places with the yellow block. Oh, seems I have actually done something incorrectly. Let us see if we can go ahead and find out where the problem is. I am actually quite stumped on this one. Let's see if we can go ahead and rectify that. We'll go and swap out some of this redstone dust with some repeaters. Let's see if that helps. Let's go and try it again. Alright. Now I made myself look like an idiot with my own creation. Regardless, let's go ahead and see if it switches back. And there we go. Now you can actually build the floor around it. Just make sure that you don't misplace the glowstone. Now we will actually go ahead and move on to the floor light strip. Now, the interesting part about the floor light strip is it actually requires the presence of a contraption such as this. That is so that the actual lighting and timing works just fine. So, what we're actually going to want to do is see where we want to place the lights and how many lights we want to have. This demonstration, we'll just set up 4 lights. We'll just go ahead and place them all in a line here. Place down our sticky pistons. Dig out 2 squares on the sides of the pistons, about 2 blocks down. And of course give ourselves an escape. Now, for the vertical pistons, what we're going to want to do is actually dig out a place for the wiring. So we'll go ahead and dig ourselves out a space here, and a place where we can actually walk. Go ahead and place a redstone torch on the other side of the block, and then wire that up to... We don't want to create any crosstalk, and we don't want to activate a piston early, so make sure you keep that isolated. So just go ahead and dig this out. Place some redstone wire here. Before we do that, we're going to actually want to create a isolation point. So now you can go ahead and create the redstone wire. And there, we'll actually place a redstone repeater to make sure the signal travels far enough. Now, it seems kind of trivial with this many, but you may want to create a longer light switch. Now what will happen is, of course, all of our vertical pistons will be extended. So let's just go ahead and cover this contraption up. Alright, next we're actually going to want to see which block we have on top over here. It seems we only have the glowstone on top, so what we're going to want to do is place glowstone on top of the pistons. Now if it was the yellow wool on top, we'd actually want to place the yellow wool on top. Alright, we also have our yellow wool on this side. You're actually going to want the light strip to mimic the position of your single light. Or if you have this contraption underground, you're going to want to have it imitate its positions. Now, I actually messed up here. I actually should have placed down our pistons first. Thankfully, it's not that hard to destroy wool. Now we go ahead and place down our wool. And then on the other side, we place our pistons once more. Now that we have our light strip set up, we're actually going to want to wire in these pistons. Now, one thing to note is that the light strip will always be 2 blocks further out than the compact 1 square light. So let's just go ahead and set up a repeater here, and then set up repeaters behind all the pistons. And then we'll do the same for the other side. Alright, let's go ahead and test out the entire system. Oh, well, seems that the yellow wool has been able to replace the glowstone. Now let's try it out again, see if it works in reverse. And yes, it does. Now we will move on to ceiling lights. Ceiling lights are actually a lot like the floor lights, so I will go ahead and skip to the important step. Alright, here we are all set up with the ceiling light. Now, I didn't actually go in and place this in the ceiling, as I don't want to have to worry about falling and climbing back up. As you can see, the block detection system is actually set up the same. And the only difference currently is how the piston is. The sticky piston, that is. As you can see, it is now pushing down, which is of course needed for a ceiling light. And as you can see, I have already set up the light strip as well, which looks exactly the same as the floor light, but once again, the sticky pistons are above the glowstone instead of below the glowstone. Now, the difference in wiring here is actually how we get power to the sticky piston. What we're going to want to do is, on this side of the block detection system and the wiring, is actually wire up in this area another redstone repeater on both sides, and then have that flow into a block. And then on that block, we're going to want to place, as you guessed it, a redstone torch. Go ahead and place that down, and then place your yellow wool, or your filler block of choice. Then we'll just go ahead and wire that up. Oh, looks like we had some crosstalk there, but not to worry. Or I guess it is to worry. Seems that our circuit is spazzing out. Alright, now that we have that taken care of, as you can see, the piston is extended and the light is currently on. So, to avoid any mess-ups, we'll just go ahead and isolate the strip and test to see if it works. Alright, now let's see if it works in reverse. Alright, all is well. So let's go ahead and reintroduce the strip light. Now, of course, our problem with the strip light now is actually powering the top layer, which is actually a lot easier than it looks. So, as with the floor strip light, you'll need to have a single light hooked up as well. So let's just go ahead and run some wool over to the pistons, and then place some wool on top of the pistons. Now, to make sure the signal carries far enough once again, go in and place a repeater down. And then we'll go ahead and just wire up the vertical pistons. Alright, as you can see, all the lights are extended, and let us test out the system now. Alright, let's see if the strip works in reverse. Alright, everything's working perfectly. Now I'll show you the completed project as the one I demonstrated at the beginning of this episode. As you can see, it does take up quite a bit of space, especially with the more lights you add. Now, you can run the lights for the typical 15 redstone current transfer, and every light past that, you'll have to create repeat loops. But that's for another video. As you can see, lights run for quite a bit. Let's go ahead and take a look up top, since it's much easier to see the wiring up there, and I fail to move around objects. Alright, here is our single light. Now, like I said before, if you want, this does not have to be an actual light. This can be an isolated circuit anywhere in the area. Now, as you can see, the lights are extended and the entire system is activated. Well, and that is pretty much the basics of hidden lights. This has been Opirian with a redstone tutorial